Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So you might have noticed that I have a big band-aid on my nose. Hopefully that won't distract you from today's video. I'll explain what is happening in just a second. But today's video is going to be all about how to do a palette refresh for your Seint makeup. So in case you didn't realize, you can take your tints that maybe look like they're getting low or almost out. You can melt them down and get at least another month out of them and have a beautifully refreshed palette. So same goes with broken powders, whether that's your Illluminator or an eyeshadow. I'm going to show you how you can fix it, how you can clean, make everything nice and beautiful. And I'm also going to be doing just like a really quick sped up of how I do my go-to everyday makeup look, especially when obviously I have half my face like this. So about that, the elephant in the room, basically I wound up having Mohs surgery. If you've been following my channel, you maybe knew that I had a spot that I was a little bit nervous about. Well, it turns out it was basal cell carcinoma. So it was what's considered in situ, I think is how you say it, which means it was in the upper epidermis. However, I had to have Mohs surgery, which is essentially not just removing it, but making sure that they got all the margins to where it won't spread. But because of that, and I know some of you guys are squeamish, some of you not so much. So just tap the little like button to skip 10 steps ahead if you want. Otherwise, I'll show you what we're working with. So not ideal, but nothing that I'm sure the makeup can't work with. It probably will leave a scar, but you know what? It is what it is. So wear your hats, ladies. I'll do an entire video on my experience with Mohs and the healing process and all of that. I'm almost a week out, I believe, from having had it. So not ideal, but it is what it is. And so we're just gonna rock with this, with this simple and easy makeup look today and a palette refresh. So let's get into the before and how you can turn it into this beautiful, shiny new palette. That is my very favorite. This is the Isle palette. And also keep in mind that I will link to everything in the shopping or in the description below in case you want to shop. You can shop these goodies with your artist that you're already working with, or if you are an artist, or if you don't yet have a Seint artist, I would love to be your official Seint mama. You can also get a custom color match down below as well if you need help picking colors. So let's dive into the palette refresh part of this video. Yay! Okay, so here is my current palette situation. You can see it is definitely kind of dirty. And obviously I have a couple of my highlights that look like they either are getting really low or just a little bit crummy. And so I'm going to show you how to melt them down, and I can get at least another month out of that top one, maybe even 2 months out of that middle one. Lots of time left in those goodies. And same thing, this my lip and cheek here, I can make that much more clean looking, and I may even clean up the other ones. And also I could probably crush this guy up, my Georgia Illuminator, and reset it as a powder. So I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So all you want to do is, again, these, if you haven't seen the Seint cream, which you probably have if you're watching this, but they're all magnetic. So you just take them out, pop it on just like a frying pan, and you're just going to turn it on over low heat, just enough to like kind of heat it up. So maybe I'll start it at like 4 or something like that. It doesn't really matter, just enough to where it's going to get nice and warm. So we're going to take these guys and this one. I'm also going to clean up this one. So the other guys should be fine, so we won't do anything with that right now. So again, I've got it on low heat. Next up, I'm going to reach over here in my spice drawer and grab a toothpick. And the old toothpick will do. We'll take a couple of them over here. And that's what we're going to use to get... Oh no. Oopsies. Try to do things in one hand. That's what we're going to do to kind of stir it all up once it starts to melt and get out any of the gunk, like little hairs or anything that might be happening on there. So maybe I'll speed this part up so that you guys can see. It doesn't take long. Okay, so once it starts to kind of come to the middle, just take your little toothpick and spread it out, kind of mix it all up. It's stormy outside, so you may hear the rain. There's a little bit of lightning. And then one thing I forgot to grab is a paper towel. Here you can see the rain. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite weather, fun fact. It was storming earlier and I was outside doing my Bible reading, and honestly, it is such a great day. Okay, so I'm gonna take that guy. Oh, try not to get it in the fire. That would not be good. Okay, once again, one-handed is a little bit tricky. Okay, so we're gonna do the same for this. Just kind of get it all down to the middle like that. And you can kind of start to scrape it and see, okay, see how like it's got some like a hair, ew, kind of gross. Just take it out like that. Okay, I think that one's good. So we're gonna switch it over to this side. And you can see this one just kind of has some like kind of discoloration to it, probably from like using the same brush, which I use the same brushes for all the things, so don't feel like you can't do that. But I think sometimes it transfers some of the color, so it might not make it exactly as it originally was. I'm just kind of scooping to see if there's any brush hairs or anything like that, which nope, I think we're good. Okay, so that guy is probably donezo. One more. And can you see how easy this is? Ew, another gross hair. I think there's another one in there. Yep. I think it's either brush hairs or dog hairs. Who knows? Pretty gross, but this is another good reason why you should do this. Okay, it's starting to smoke a little, so we don't want to cook it, obviously, so I'm just going to turn it off the heat because you just want enough heat to melt it down. It's a tiny little hair. And hopefully this makes sense. So we'll do one more time with this one, just to get out any, see? Oh wait, can you see that? Ew. Okay, and that one spilled over just a little bit. We don't want that ideally, but it's all right. We'll just wipe it off. Okay, so now I'm gonna move it from the heat because those are melted down. They are done. I already turned off the heat there. And so we're just gonna let those cool and come back over here, and we're gonna pop out all the other colors. So this one, pretty good to go. I mean, if you're super OCD and want everything to be nice and neat, you can do that. Again, we'll tackle this one here in a second because it did break a little, and I think I can repair that to make it a little bit better. And then this one, I'm probably just gonna wipe down really well. I'll show you guys that. But when you are cleaning up your palette, and this goes for any of them, this is just my very favorite palette. It's the Isle palette. I always say it's like a little bit more of a bougie palette because it is not cheap, but it is amazing because it's got that really big mirror. Say hello. And it is going to clean up really, really nicely. So I normally would just use our brush cleanser to do it. You could also use, on this particular one, you could probably use like the Dawn Power Wash, but because I know most of you guys probably won't have this one because it is all plastic, I'm gonna use the brush cleanser because you wouldn't want to use the Power Wash on the regular palettes because they are technically made of paper. So it's super sustainable. So let me grab my brush cleanser and we'll get going with that. Okay, so essentially I'm just gonna take our brush cleanser. This stuff is the best. And I'm just gonna spray it down. It's really, really easy. So this cleanses and sanitizes and smells amazing. And if you use it on your brushes, it gets them clean and dry immediately. And this is a great way to sanitize really anything. Maybe you are an artist and you want to sanitize your kit. You can even spray down your tins because it will dry up. Hopefully you can see this. See all that gunk? And we're not necessarily going for perfection. I don't know if you guys have ever watched some of those like YouTube shorts where it's like, I feel like they're usually like these Asian companies where they'll take like an old, like a very old makeup palette and they will make it look brand new. So this is not one of those. Sorry if you like watching them. This is just my version of it. So I'm not necessarily going to get in like every little crevice to make this perfect, because I am not a perfectionist actually, but you certainly could. You could use maybe like a Q-tip to really get down in there, but I just want to clean it up enough to where it looks nice. And just to show you guys that you can do it too. Okay, so I would say that's pretty good. So you can see there's a couple of little pink stains. That's actually from the ink on the bottom of the tins. So I'm not going to worry about that because, again, you're not going to see the magnetic. And I see where I could have done like a little tiny bit of better job there. But again, I just want this to be bright and shiny and clean. So I'm going to start with my eyeshadows just because those, I might need to replace that one. Definitely a favorite, Sabrina. I have recently been rocking, and I'll show you guys. I'll do, if you want to see my sped up makeup application at the end, I can do it for my palette. But this guy's one of our cream shadows that I have been loving. And then this guy, I use my brows and in my crease. And so there's the eyeshadows. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my contour. So I like to put my makeup in the order that I use it. And so here, let me move that out of the way. And so my contour, I know will go there. My 3 highlights here, which we'll check on those in a second. And then let me wipe down and clean up these guys to show you how that works. Okay, look guys. So they are all solidified and cool to the touch. So you want to obviously make sure that they are cool to the touch. Sometimes when they are new, either brand new, which you can wipe off the bottom too if you want to, but sometimes if they are either brand new or newly kind of melted down, they'll look a little darker. So you might want to read on the back. Oh, can't see which one it is. Okay, so this one's Athens. So that's my main highlight. Then that means this one is going to be Hazel, which is my camouflage color. And so if you need a refresher on why I use three colors and the camouflage application method, okay, this one we're definitely going to need to do it. I'll link to that video of how I do my makeup, and you can see why I use 3. And plus, I'll do the sped up little application here in just a second. So, and then this one is Palace, I think. Yes, Palace is what I've been rocking under my eyes, like that. Okay, so next up, let's put this guy. So if you get a couple little air bubbles, oops, just know that's okay. I think this one has some air bubbles, and that's fine. So we're gonna pop this guy here, and we're gonna wipe these 2 down and crush this one up. So let me grab my supplies for that. Okay, so for the other guys, I am gonna be using some alcohol wipes to wipe down my lip conditioner and clean up this other newer lip and cheek, just to, again, sanitize it, get it nice and clean. These are a little tiny. I don't actually recommend this size, so I can link to a size that I like better and will be ordering myself on Amazon. I just got these too small, and I'm gonna work with what I have. So then see how like nice and clean and pretty and shiny and sanitized it is. So it just pops right in there like that. And I'll use another one for my lip conditioner. And especially since I use my fingers to apply these guys, this is a really good way to just make sure that I'm not getting any kind of gunk on my hands into the cream. And it's just gonna sanitize it. It's gonna clean it up. This one has a little bit of shimmer on it, and it's going to look nice and beautiful. So you can obviously do the sides as well if they get a little gunky, which this one kind of has. And I absolutely, whoops, dropped it. I absolutely love our lip conditioner. So we're going to pop that guy in there. Okay, and then last, but definitely not least, we're going to try to crush this down. So this one was already like a little bit well loved, well used. And then it looks like some broke off. I don't really remember when this happened, but I use Georgia Illuminator all the time for my eyeshadow, for my Illuminator. And so it's a great one to have in the palette. But I am gonna take a little trusty toothpick and some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol, and we're going to press this down. Now, for you, maybe you got an illuminator that was crushed, which PS, Seint will replace it. All you have to do is just email in using the contact form on your website, whether you're an artist, like I usually will handle this for my customers, but if you're a customer, you can do this on your own too, and they will replace it for you. But they probably won't make you ship this one back, and so you can fix it, or if you, like me, I'm just gonna go ahead and fix this one. Really, all you have to do, we'll start with this one, is just kind of crush up the powder kind of as much as you can. And it's a little, this one's a little bit full, so I'm probably going to be like making a little bit of a mess about it. So what you can do in this case is take it and put it in a little container. What's this? So just dump it all in there like that. And then we're going to kind of stir it all up. Let me get maybe like a fork to smash it up. So we're just kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you're just kind of finely mixing it all together. This can work for your setting powder or for your powder illuminators or your powder eyeshadows, honestly, any of them. And so you just want to kind of mix it up like that. And you guys, honestly, this is one of the first times I'm doing this, but I've seen that it's possible, so it might get messy, but we're just going to make this work, okay? But you're just going to have to trust me that if I can do it, you can do it, right? Okay, so let me get all of that out. We don't want any of this left behind. So we're going to take it and kind of, oh wait, you can't see what I'm doing. We're going to take it, now that we poured it in there, and kind of smooth it out. Just a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to take a little bit of the alcohol. We're going to put it in the cap first, just so it doesn't get everywhere. Okay, a little bit of alcohol. And we're going to just drop it on like that and kind of mix it together. And again, the alcohol is going to evaporate, but it's going to help kind of bind everything together. And then we're going to smash it down using another one of the tins. And hopefully this is going to work. If not, it'll be an epic fail and we'll just roll with it. Okay, so I'm going to use the same, but I'm going to use this tin to smash it down. And you can see there's some of it oozing out. And I'm okay with that. Let me grab another little trusty paper towel. Making a little bit of a mess here. Oh, nope, that didn't work. That kind of did. Okay, so I kind of smoothed it out. Oh man. Okay, so I'm just kind of patting it down. And we're gonna let it dry. I think I might have put too much of the alcohol in, but hopefully it'll evaporate and hopefully it'll dry. And then we'll have a pretty powder illuminator. All right, so let's try it one more time with this Georgia illuminator and just a tiny little bit. And I'm thinking since this one is not, which we're gonna have a little bit of the Starlight in the Georgia, and that's fine. I'm thinking since this one is not so full, it's gonna be a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off my toothpick. Okay. So let me see if I can get closer to show you guys this. Okay, so I'm just gonna grind up the Georgia and kind of spread it out. I think what I need is like a dropper for the alcohol, just to make it like a tiny little itty bitty bit. But I'm telling you, Georgia is magical, you guys. It's so good. And I'm also, like I mentioned, I'm not a perfectionist. I tend to rush things, so maybe don't rush this. Like, just take your time. Just make it smooth. Oh yeah, see, this is gonna be way better. Already, I can tell. And maybe what we'll do is we'll press it down with the back of a spoon. How about that? That might be better. Or honestly, you can try the tin thing. We'll see. I like the tin idea because it's the same idea. Okay. So you can see I've got it pressed down. Hopefully it's not doing weird things. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit in my hand and kind of drop it down, maybe. Here, we'll try this again. You guys can see. Drip, drip. I mean, just a tiny little bit. There's my toothpick. Just enough to make it bind together. I think it looked a little bit better before. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of press it down first. Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Just with my finger, just to kind of get it a nice pack down, and then we'll make it even better in just a second. Okay, let's see if this guy is drying. Not really, but I'm sure it will. Okay, so this I'm pressing down. Okay, I think that's better. So I'm just gonna continue to kind of press and smooth. And I definitely think it's gonna stay, which is good. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna call that done. So that's gonna give me a more even application, like that. Let's move you over. Okay, perfect. And of course, since I had this guy here, a little bit of that Illluminator got on there. So let's take and clean up this part one more time. And my friends, we're gonna call that done. This is gonna be our brand new clean palette. So hopefully this is kind of helpful for you to see how simple it is to take your palette to a clean, bright, shiny state. So now I'll do a little quick sped up application using the colors in this palette so you can see how I do my makeup. Okay, so I am gonna do my 3D foundation. I'm gonna start with a little bit of lip conditioner and move on to my contour. Just to give a little bit of definition, I'm using the blend brush. And I find this is a really fast, easy, and lightweight natural application for every day. And it just creates a shadow, a dimension, and the color has a little bit of warmth as well. So it kind of acts as a bronzer. Next up, my Brightening Pop highlight. This is Palace. And I'm just kind of popping around my eyes, the center of my face. And it just gives a little bit of brightness to bring the light forward. Next up, my camouflage color. So this is going to go on any of the areas where I've got some redness, like around my nose, the part that you can see, my melasma on the side of my cheek there, and the redness that is on my chin. And next up, I'm going to blend it all together and apply my bridge or my main highlight color, which is Athens. And this just kind of brings everything together, gives a light, easy, natural coverage, and doesn't really look like makeup, but you can see the coverage is great. Now, I am loving Pink Grapefruit Lip and Cheek. I think this has been on the line for forever, but I don't know why I've been missing it. It's so pretty. Now I'm using the Georgia Illuminator that I just fixed and going to line my lips always just to give them a little bit more of a plump, defined feel. And then I'm going to put a little bit of that Georgia Illuminator on the top and then finish off with La Cienega, which is a beautiful glossy color. I love it so much. And next up, my brows. And I'm going to use Trust eyeshadow in my brows. I love using Astoria contour, but since I used a warmer contour today, it would be a little bit too warm in my brows. And so I love Trust if you are kind of a dark blonde gal, or I've got like my grays that are growing out. It's also really good if you've got brown hair as well. And you can see the biggest difference is just defining my brows. I swear it takes years off your face and just helps everything come together, especially when I'm doing a quick and easy 5-minute makeup look like this. So next up, we're going to do some eyes. So I'm going to use the color Spiced. It's a cream shadow that was kind of hidden in my palette, but it's the prettiest warm color that makes my blue eyes absolutely pop, and I can just put it on with my finger. Next up, I'm going to brighten up the inner corner with a little bit of Sabrina and up along my brow bone, and you can tell I love this color. Next up, I'm going to warm it up with Pup. So Pup is a really simple neutral, and it just kind of blends everything together, creates a little bit of a shadow. So I'm finishing off with my favorite mascara from Color Science, and then we'll be done. If you haven't tried tubing mascara, it is a must. Drop me your favorite in the comments. And that's pretty much it for my 5-minute makeup.